We're always told that changing your life needs this huge jolt of motivation, right? Like some big, energetic push. But what if the real path to rebuilding your life is, well, quieter, slower, and honestly, kind of boring? Today, we are diving into a totally counterintuitive way to build a life that actually lasts.
Oof, this one hits hard, doesn't it? If you've ever felt that insane rush of a New Year's resolution only to watch it all crumble a week later, you know this feeling deep in your bones. But this isn't about blaming you. It's about questioning the very tool we've all been told is the only way.
So let's talk about this motivation trap. The real problem, and this is the key, is that we treat motivation like it's a strategy. It's not. It's just a feeling. And you know how feelings are? They're completely unreliable.
And that's the thing. That temporary high feels amazing. It makes you feel like you can conquer the world. But when it inevitably disappears, you crash. And after you go through that cycle a few times, you start thinking, what's wrong with me? I must not have any willpower. But the truth is, you were just building your foundation on sand the whole time.
Okay, so if motivation is the trap, how do you get out? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The solution is to embrace things that seem, on the surface, totally unexciting. We're talking about boring habits, these tiny repetitive actions that feel almost useless while you're doing them. This comparison just lays it all out plain and simple. Look at that left column. That's the motivation roller coaster, right? All hype, all excitement, totally unstable. Now look at the right. Boring habits are all about repetition, and that repetition creates stability. And that stability, it leads to the quiet magic of compounding, which is what creates permanent change. It's literally the tortoise versus the hare playing out in your everyday life. And that's the secret. The goal isn't to feel hyped up all the time. The real goal is to build a foundation so solid that your progress just happens. These habits aren't about adding another shiny object to your to-do list. They're about taking away the invisible chaos that's been wrecking all your best efforts.
So let's see how this works. The first thing you've got to do isn't about building new things. It's about creating silence. It's about turning down the volume on all the noise, both in your head and from the outside world, so you can actually think straight and act from a place of calm. Just look at these. None of them are glamorous. Starting your day with nothing, no phone, no news, that gives you ownership of your own mind before the world gets its hands on it. Just sitting in silence for a few minutes lets your brain finally catch up. And that simple pause before you react, wow, that alone could stop so much of the damage we accidentally cause in our own lives.
Here's another super practical tool for quieting that chaos. The idea is to write to clear, not to write a perfect, beautiful journal. You just dump all your messy thoughts, your fears, your complaints onto a page. Why? Because once they're out of your head and staring back at you from the paper, they stop looping. They become manageable problems instead of these huge, overwhelming feelings.
Okay, so you've started to quiet the chaos. What's next? This is where we build momentum. And the secret here has nothing to do with having amazing, super productive days. Nope, it's all about what you do on the bad days. This is such a huge mindset shift. So many of us are stuck in this all or nothing trap. If we can't do our full hour workout, we just skip it. If we can't write 1,000 words, we don't write at all. And that's exactly where we lose. The real win is just refusing to let yourself have a 0 day. I mean, this completely redefines what success looks like, right? Success isn't crushing it every single day. Success is doing 5 minutes of your thing when you feel like doing absolutely nothing. That's what protects your momentum. It stops the guilt from piling up, and it reinforces your identity as someone who shows up no matter what. Just let that one sink in for a second. It's not the slow days that kill your dreams. It's the day you just stop. By doing the absolute minimum, you're sending this powerful signal to yourself that you are still in the game. You haven't quit. And all of this leads to something much, much deeper. All these small actions, quieting the chaos, building momentum, they start to rebuild trust in yourself. See, self-belief isn't something you can just wake up and decide to have. You have to earn it. You need evidence. Come on, we've all done this. Starting Monday, I'm changing everything. We make this huge promise, and then when we inevitably break it, we just chip away at our own self-respect. The solution here is the total opposite. Stop making these big, inspiring promises. Instead, make promises that are so small they feel almost stupid, promises that are nearly impossible to break.
Look how simple this is. Your promise could be, I'm going to put my coffee cup straight into the dishwasher when I'm done. Or I will stand up and stretch once every hour. When you make that tiny promise and you keep it, you get a small win. When you do it again tomorrow, you're building a track record. You are literally creating the evidence that proves you are someone who does what they say they're going to do.
So what happens when you string all of these boring little habits together day after day? When you quiet the chaos, you build momentum, and you earn your own trust. You start to feel this fundamental shift in who you are.
This is just so good. I mean, so much of what we do is a performance for other people, right? We announce our big goals, we look for likes and validation, but when you just do the work, quietly, day in and day out, with no audience, something changes. The focus turns inward. You're no longer trying to be a disciplined person, you just are one. And this comparison just captures that final transformation perfectly. You see the shift right there. You stop chasing the feeling of success, which is always a high followed by a low, and you start to value the feeling of being stable. You trade the drama of big wins and external validation for the quiet confidence that comes from internal trust and calm consistency. And maybe, for the first time, that just feels better.
And that really says it all, doesn't it? It is not the one heroic, intense effort that changes you. It's the hundreds of small, boring, repetitive actions that nobody ever sees. That's where the real magic happens.
So if you take away one thing from all this, let it be this. Stop looking for the next motivational hack. Instead, look for the smallest, most boring habit you can think of that will remove just a little bit of chaos from your life. Because once the chaos is gone, growth just starts to happen on its own.
And that's the question I want to leave you with. So forget the grand gestures for a minute. What is the one simple, unexciting thing you can do today and do again tomorrow that could quietly, slowly change everything?